What's going on, everybody? Top 10 Pokemon back, bringing yet another top Pokemon card auctions of the week recap. Folks, there's a lot to unpack from this week. Several cards came by from the newest set, Silver Tempest. We even saw several graded Charizards from the Charizard Ultra Premium Collection box come by, including the Charizard V, Charizard V Max, and the Charizard V Star, all in PSA 10, and we're going to see what they sold for as well. We also saw a couple of retraces, particularly in the Moonbreon VMAX and the Japanese Sightseer Full Art Trainer card. Folks, as I always say, please give this video a like, please be a subscriber, help me get to 20,000 subs, so close, and please support the channel by using my eBay affiliate link in the description below. I really appreciate it. So let's start this auction recap out with some Silver Tempest cards, starting with this Radiant Alakazam, which sold this week raw for $10.50. And then we also saw a Radiant Serena that sold for $4.25. And then we saw all three of the Radiant cards from Silver Tempest, the Alakazam, Jirachi, and Serena. All three of these sold together for $20.50. So, the Radiant cards in Silver Tempest, not quite as valuable as you might think, especially since these sales were before the set was even officially released. So not looking too good for these Radiant cards. Here we saw a Rainbow Rare Unknown V-Star, sold for $36 this week. And then of course the Lugia V alternate art had several sales. This card alone, in my opinion, is carrying the set. Here is a raw example that sold for $405. Here's another one that sold for $410. And here's one that sold for $471. And lastly, we saw a sale of $530 for this magnificent card. Cannot wait to see what kind of prices this card hits in the graded market. Here's what you came for, folks. The Charizard from the Ultra Premium Collection box. Here's the Charizard V-Star, which I'm pretty sure is everybody's favorite. This card sold this week as a PSA 10 for roughly $395 US. And it had another sale of about $465 US. Here's a Charizard V-Max that sold for roughly $437. And it also had another sale of about $430. And then we saw one sale of the Charizard V selling for over $500 US as a PSA 10. Just a couple of Black Label cards came through. Here is a Black Label Celebi and Venusaur GX Rainbow Rare from the Team Up set. Sold for $520 this week. And then we saw a Black Label Charizard VMAX from Champion's Path, and it sold for $3,122. Up next, we saw the Full Art Japanese Sightseer card from the Tag Team All-Star set. This card is a PSA 10 sold this week for $1,250. And then we saw another sale of $1,275, which is down about $500 from a few weeks ago where it sold for over $1,700. And then we saw the English Moonbreon VMAX here that sold as a PSA 10 for $950, whereas a few weeks ago it was going for over $1,250 in auction. But the Japanese Moonbreon VMAX seemed to be unscathed this week. One sold for $1,950 as a PSA 10, another sale of $2,119. We saw several of the no rarity symbol jungle holographic cards come by in PSA 10. We're going to go over them from least to greatest in terms of price. Here's a Venomoth that sold for $825. This Pinsir sold for $860. This Mr. Mime sold for $1,035, and this Nidoqueen sold for $1,035 as well. We saw a Flareon sell for $1,077. Scyther here sold for $1,160. This Clefable sold for $1,875. The Jolteon sold for $2,850, and the Snorlax sold for $3,050. And the Wigglytuff was the most expensive of the no symbol holos, selling for $3,550. A couple notable E-Series cards. Here's a Japanese Gengar First Edition, sold for $1,695. And then we had an English Expedition Holographic Mewtwo, one of the best Mewtwo cards ever, sold for $2,341 as a PSA 10. On to a couple of interesting base set sales. Here is a base set Mewtwo holo. This is the 1999 to 2000 variant. Sold for $929 this week. Here is a Japanese base set Charizard PSA 10 that sold for $4,251. And here is an unlimited Charizard holo signed by Mitsuhiro Arita. The autograph got a 10, and it sold for $4,940 this week. And then here's the reverse holographic Charizard from Legendary Collection, also signed by Arita with a little Charizard design on it. The autograph got a 10 here as well, and it sold for $2,364. Here's a first edition base set Chinese Pikachu in PSA 10 that sold for $1,025. And then here's a first edition PSA 10 Clefairy Holo that sold for $7,300. A couple of interesting Japanese sales from Southern Islands. Here's a Mew card in PSA 10, sold for an even $1,000. Here we have a CGC 10 Japanese Alola Friends trainer card that sold for $1,826. Then here's a 2011 World's Championship Tropical Beach Japanese promo card that sold for $3,100 as a Gem Mint 10. Here is a PSA 9 Rayquaza Gold Star from EX Deoxys, sold for $8,900 this week. And then lastly, on eBay, here is a PSA 8 First Appearance Lugia from the movie 2000, sold for $3,150. Here are a handful of auctions from this week's PWCC weekly auction block. A PSA 9 Gold Star Torchic sold for $3,240. Here's a PSA 9 Illusion Zoroa promo card that sold for $3,600. A PSA 10 Ampharos Holo from Aquapolis sold this week for $3,120. And this beautiful PSA 10 Umbreon from Skyridge sold for $4,800 this week. A first edition PSA 10 Tyranitar from Neo Discovery sold for $3,360. And then we saw a PSA 10 Gold Star Trico that sold for $6,900. And then we saw several awesome sales from Heritage Auctions. Here are several Black Label Charizard cards. Here's the Charizard V Champions Path Elite Trainer Box promo as a BGS 10 Black Label, sold for $1,140. This Black Label Charizard V Max from Darkness Ablaze sold for $1,200. And this Black Label Charizard V from Champions Path sold for $2,040. A couple of staff promo Charizard cards. This one is from Team Up Set. That sold for $1,800. And the staff pre-release holo from Evolutions sold for $7,200. Here's a PSA 10 Gold Star Mewtwo that sold for $3,720. And then we saw several CGC 10 pristine vintage cards come by. Here's a Raikou EX. Got the CGC 10, sold for $960. Here's a CGC 10 Vaporeon from Skyridge that sold for $1,080. This Houndoom from Skyridge sold for $1,680. And we had a reverse holo Crystal Charizard, also CGC 10, sold for $3,600. And lastly, here's a CGC 10 Alakazam holo from Skyridge that sold for $1,080. First edition Shining Mewtwo from Neo Destiny sold for $3,360, while a first edition Light Dragonite holo from Neo Destiny sold for $1,110. And here also is a first edition Shining Steelix in PSA 10 that sold for $1,320 big ones. Couple of the higher end fossil cards. Here's a first edition Lapras holo in PSA 10, sold for $1,920. And the first edition Dragonite holo, the rookie card here, sold for $4,080. A couple of base set cards. Here's an unlimited Blastoise holo that sold for $2,220. A shadowless Zapdos in PSA 10 sold for $1,560. And the shadowless Mewtwo sold for an even $3,000. And then here's a first edition PSA 10 base set Nidoking that sold for $5,760. The auction of the week, folks, I'm going to have to give to this CGC 10 base 2 Charizard holo that sold for $4,320. And in all honesty, I would have thought this card would have sold for a lot more than that. What do you all think? Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Let me know what you thought of all these auctions in the comments below. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. That's it. I'll catch you all in my next one.